Hi, this video will instruct you how to make the peppermint hard candy and lollipop. So you're going to cut the petals out as noted in the instruction document, but we're using template 1 mini flower. And basically for the smaller one, the width is 2.14 inches, and for the larger size, you're going to cut 3.14 inches wide. And again, it's template 1 mini flower. And for the smaller size, you need 9 red and 9 white. And then for the larger, you need 10 red and 10 white. Okay, so there's 2 different sizes that I have made. So basically they're made the same no matter whether you use the 2-inch or the 3-inch. So what we're going to do is take the red petals, because we're going to end up gluing them to the white. I'm going to take basically half of them. Keep them stacked. And again, you're going to just cut into the center a little bit. So just use your scissors and cut into the center. And now what we're going to do is we need every other one cut off. So just take one of them, start at one of them, and just cut across. Turn it and then cut off the next petal. And lastly, so it ends up looking like that. So now we're going to do the same thing with the rest of the red petals, keeping them stacked. Cut into the center slightly. So you're just turning the petals. Okay, and again, we're going to cut off every other red petal. Don't stress, just cut. Don't think about it. And our last one. So now the next step is we're going to use craft glue and glue them to the white petals. So I'm just going to get rid of our little snippets. The glue that I'm using today is pH neutral PVA. It's ideal for bookbinding and paper projects. I do purchase this on Amazon. You can use any craft glue that you have in your stash. And we're just going to glue them. So I just try and make sure it looks good for the placement before I adhere it. You just add your glue, flip it over. And now you're going to continue doing that with the rest of your red petals. Again, red can go to white. It's just what I did. You can do the opposite if you prefer. Once I touch it or add the glue down, I like to pick it up to make sure it's lined up. So we're going to continue to glue all of them. So bear with me. And this glue dries super fast. And like I said earlier, it remains flexible, and that's why I like it. So this does take the longest. It's the most tedious part of it, but if you cut a few, you can just cut and glue all of them and then style and assemble them all at once. It makes it a lot easier. So we're just gluing again. Again, this is the smaller size. The width of template 1 mini flower is 2.14 inches. So if you adjust the width, the height will automatically adjust in Design Space. Now I use Cricut, but you can use Silhouette. Template 1 comes in a PNG and a SVG file. I do use template 1 mini flower for a lot of my fun craft projects, like the elves. I made a witch, so it's very versatile. We're almost there. And we're gonna have one more to do. Now we get to style our lollipop. We're gonna make the lollipop. And I'll show you how to make the hard candy with the other flower I have sitting there. You can make these into a magnet, or you can make it into an ornament, like I'm going to. All right, so now we have them all glued together. So again, we're going to take about half of them, keep them stacked, and we're going to cut into them. And this is going to make the roll of the petal a little bit deeper. So again, just go around the edge. And we're going to do the same with our next stack. So stack them neatly, lined up. Just watch your fingers. Okay. Now you're going to take 2 of them, and what I like to do is where the white is, I put the red on top. And now we're going to use a dowel rod or anything smooth, such as like a paintbrush. You just need it smoother. And what you do is you take your dowel rod, place it in the middle of the petal, place your thumb on top, index finger underneath, and use your thumb and index finger from your opposite hand, pinch and roll. Thumb on top, index finger underneath, pinch and roll. We're just going to go all the way around. And we're going to do this to all the petals. So again, take 2 of them, place the red on top of the white, the opposite color, just because it's easier to roll the petal. Thumb on top, index finger underneath. Keep it in the middle of the petal. Take your thumb and index finger, pinch and roll. Just keep practicing. You will get the hang of it, I promise. Again, take 2 of them, red on top of the white. dowel rod in the middle. And you're just pinching and rolling. Press on top to keep the dowel rod in place. Now, as I got closer for the center one, I did roll a tighter curl. So what does that mean? That means you're going to use a skinnier dowel rod, like the width of it. So I'm going to go smaller. So this is the one I was using over here. Now I'm going smaller. We'll just use that for the last one. We're doing the same technique. Thumb on top, index finger underneath, pinch and roll. Excuse me. Okay. Now, all you're going to do, we're just going to set that aside. And this will be our center one. We need one for the back. And we're going to roll the center. So we're going to roll them as we go. You're going to use a metal ball stylus, or sometimes they're called a clay ball stylus. They can be found on Amazon. A lot of times, I almost dropped some stuff. They're in the pink and the blue color, and they come in a multi-pack of different sizes. Okay, so for our first one, and we're doing the Lollipop one, is your first petals going to be with the red at the top, and then we're just going to take another one, roll the center, just a little bit, and the red is going to be with the X to the left of that red petal. So I'm just going to flip it towards me, add glue. I'm using AdTech Precision glue gun with Gorilla Glue. Place it in the center. Okay, leave it just like that. Don't turn it like we would normally do. Roll the center of your next petal. And the next one, white is going to be in the middle. So your X now is going the long way. So flip it towards you. Again, white's in the middle. I hold the first layer and press down. So the third layer lines up with the first layer. And again, keep it right there. Take your next petal. And now white is going to be to the left. So our X is going this way. So again, roll your center. So use your metal ball stylus. Go around in a circle. That lifts the petals up. We add our glue. And again, white is going to the left. So we keep our X and press down. So this is going to create a swirl to the flower, like a peppermint. Our next petal, grab, and roll the center. So our next one, red, is going to be right in the center. So again, we're not turning our flower. Press down. Okay. Take your next one. Roll your center. Take your metal ball stylus. Just go around the edge in the center. And that lifts the petals. So now we're doing, I have to make sure, red is off. So our X is this way, and red is to the left of our red center petal. Okay, we keep it just the way it is. We don't turn it at all. So now we're going to do white in the center. Flip it over. I'm going to curl up the petals a little. They naturally fall in place in front of one another. We're going to add some glue. And again, this one white is going right in the center. Take our last one, which we use our smaller dowel rod to roll. We're going to fold them up. So naturally, again, they're going one in front of the other. We're going to add glue. So it almost looks like a rosebud. And our white petal right here is going over here to the left of the white. Now we have our flower made. So now we're going to add our lollipop stick. So what you can do is I had a pack laying around of lollipop sticks. I'm not really sure why. For the smaller size, I did cut it in half. So I just took my scissors and cut it. For the larger flower, the 3.14 inch wide, you can use the whole stick. So all we're going to do is add a little bit of glue. Let it hold it there for a second. There we go. Take your baker's twine. So this is red and white baker's twine. Cut off a piece. I usually cut much larger than I actually need. So this one, it's like 12 inches, but you don't need it that large. Fold it in half and you're going to make a loop. So, or a knot, I'm sorry. And tie it tight. I'm going to trim off the excess. And now we're going to place it here because now this is going to be our string to hang our lollipop. So now that we have that there, we're going to roll the center of our last petal. And then we need to figure out where this one's going. So it's going to go right here so that the red goes around, the white goes around. So we're just going to add glue. Just watch your fingers. Ooh, watch your fingers. Ooh, don't do what I just did. Just press down. I might have added a little bit too much glue that time. There's your lollipop. So we're going to do the same technique to make the flower. You could add another one in there if you wanted it a little bit tighter. I kind of like that you see the center for the lollipop. So for the hard candy, we assemble the flower exactly the same way. You're going to cut a piece of cellophane, which is what they use to wrap gift baskets a lot of times. Very clear. So I just cut a random piece. And we're going to need 2 pieces of baker's twine. To tie either end of the cellophane. So then all I do is I wrap. So what you can do is flip it over. Ooh. A little tricky, this part. Okay, so now we have it wrapped. Take one piece. And we're gonna tie like you're tying your shoelace, a ribbon. A bow, sorry. Tight, pull it tight, and then we can push the flower down towards it. Make your bow, just like you tied your shoe. And you can trim off excess. Now we're going to do the same thing at the other end. So press your flower down, and now we're going to tie around it. So like it's a piece of candy. And this would it sits easily on the tree, so you don't need a loop to hang it. And you're making it as tight as possible, and then tying your bow like you tie your shoelace. Okay, and then you just cut off the excess. And now we're going to trim off the ends. And now we have a piece of hard candy that would just sit in the tree, and you have your lollipop ornament. Or if you were doing a magnet, you wouldn't have to do the baker's twine. You could just add a magnet to the back. How stinking cute. Thanks for watching.